also getting it now has a number of viewers. Okay. No. Okay. Can you hear us?
There we
Okay.
go.
Yeah, sounds a step in the right direction. It's better than nothing.
And then
Only
people. There we are.
yeah. Yes. So, hello everybody. I'm not going to make excuses. JL is late for reasons that he's not chosen to share with the rest of the class. And the rest of us are late because of technology, which apparently no beardsman actually completely understands.
Correct.
But the rest of you can unsubscribe from Johnny O at your leisure. You don't need to do it immediately.
Me?
But it was his fault.
What did I do?
It was your fault. Well, more what you didn't do, really. Which was
we were just sitting here like, what is up? Like, come on, man. To quote Joe Biden, come on, man.
Come on, man.
Well, but eventually we've kicked off. So welcome to the three beardsmen plus that guy who's always late. And I, of course, am PhD Tony, the host, the owner of this channel. Wielder of absolute power. And I welcome Johnny O. How are you?
I was good until you told everybody to unsubscribe. Golly, Tony. Make one mistake. One mistake.
That's
all it takes, man. That's all it takes.
Yeah.
I'm doing well, actually.
No, you should.
You guys are experiencing some sort of heat wave, and it's cold as balls over here in Texas. It's kind of weird how that works out. It's almost like the world is a sphere.
I know, right?
Cold as balls. Are your balls generally cold, or?
Well,
you might want to get that checked out.
You might want to get a circulation test done, because that's. Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Clive. I appreciate it.
What?
He's not kidding. He's not kidding either.
Okay. Irish, how are you?
I am very good, sir. Thank you. And that's all from me, lads and lassies.
Well, you seem to. I noticed that you've been positioning yourself, you sort of between the YouTube and the journalism fronts.
I sure have.
Trying to get interviews with people.
That's right. I decided to kind of look into trying to kind of get more conversations going. So I've started one new show, which is my Saturday night chat show. Well, Saturday night for me and wherever else, again, almost like we live on a globe, different times and whatnot. So yeah, I'm introducing people to the community and things like that. So last week we had my friend Tay on, and this week, of course, we had Reckless Ben and his crew on, and some other guy, some homeless dude that drives around in his car shouting at people. I can't remember his name. And next week,
Bitchmade, that's his name, right?
Mr. Bitchmade. That's actually, sorry, Dr. Bitchmade, Professor Dr. Bitchmade. So next week we're going to have another guy who was kind of undercover in the flat Earth world, and he's going to be jumping on next week for a chat about that. And hopefully the week after we're going to have our friend Kwanga Chi, who's a North Korean defector who now lives in South Korea. So that's going to be a fascinating show. It's going to be awesome. I'm really looking forward to that.
A fascinating show, but you'll be on it, right?
I'll be on it. So I
Okay.
have to bring the tone down somewhat.
Right.
But yeah, I'm really excited about that one. Actually, I'm quite. I've always been really fascinated by North Korea and all that kind of stuff. So having met in Kwang quite a while
like
back,
the Irish version of Kim Jong Un?
They say as much. Yeah, I kind of do, and I do wield absolute power in my office, which nobody else is here. But,
is that your pet name for your penis?
Which
Kim
one?
Jong Un.
Absolute power.
Absolute power.
No, I mean which penis.
Wow.
Which penis? Okay, so
I'm like what is it that has two of them?
Freak.
Isn't it one of the...
Freak.
No.
What? If you're going to introduce that sort of trivia, you really need to have it, to hand. Right. That's a poor choice of phrase.
I can't put it in my hand live on the air, Tony. That's going to get your channel shut down.
Is this the point where I should get my cup of coffee or what? My goodness. Jessica G figured it out. She says Irish Ambien.
Oh, that's real nice. It's real nice.
I'm just grateful that there's a growing movement to refer to me as PhD Tony with a yawning emoji for the O.
I wonder why. That's awful. I can't imagine.
Well, there you are. That's how this community rolls. Actually, sort of, I tend to think of it. I don't know about you guys. I grew up in a reasonably large family, 3 brothers and 1 sister, and we gave one another crap the entire time. So yep. I'm actually most comfortable in a situation where people are just in fun laying rubbish on one another. But it can get hard to judge where that line should be. And actually, that's a topic that I wanted to get to later in the stream, perhaps.
Sounds fun.
So I wanted to start one topic that I read this morning and it made me very sad. David Prowse passed away. Now, Irish Demon didn't know who David Prowse was.
I don't lie. I didn't hear what you said.
That's what he says.
Yeah, that's his claim.
That's my claim. What was that? Sorry, go on. Nope,
I was reading General E. Shady's comment.
Yeah, me too. I was trying to figure out what it was. Go on anyway.
Yeah,
I was doing the exact same.
So, I don't know. Have either of you seen the Netflix documentary "I Am Your Father"?
Yeah,
we haven't.
Okay, Johnny, we haven't.
Neither of us have seen that, so just
do enlighten us, Johnny.
No, you haven't seen it. It's a David Prowse story. It's about how he was fucked by George Lucas in every way, shape, or form when it comes to being Darth Vader. And that's enough, I guess. That's all I have to say about that.
Well, okay. I was aware that, sort of he wasn't, Prowse was not aware that he was not going to do, that his voice was not being used.
Not only that, so he didn't find out that it was James Earl Jones until he was watching the movie. Like at the premiere, he sat down and all of a sudden he hears James Earl Jones' voice. So that was his big reveal. Like, hey, everybody, not going to get to hear me. And then in Return of the Jedi, they didn't even invite him to the set. Like, they didn't tell him about the shooting day when it was going to be the big reveal, the face reveal, when they used oh gosh, now I can't remember his name. Anyway,
Sebastian
Shaw, right. So when they used Shaw's face, they didn't tell Prowse, hey, we're filming this scene today. They just conveniently left him out. So yeah, that was like, hey,
so fucked up, man.
Number 2, fucking, we're gonna do a face reveal, Darth Vader, and it's not gonna be you.
Yep.
Yeah.
George Lucas was a bit of a dick.
A little bit. Still is.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think we all knew that. I think anybody who saw episode 1 was pretty aware that George Lucas was just, a menace to society.
Mm.
So Jessica G wants somebody to voice over Irish Demon.
Should do it. Do it.
Yeah. Secretly put him on mute and have somebody else do the voice.
James Earl Jones.
James Earl Jones. Yes, that's right. It'd be practically indistinguishable.
Yeah, absolutely. Hold on, let me get James. Come here. Bring your helmet.
Yeah. So sad. Sad. Of course, those people who have seen the original television series of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, or will know David Prowse in person. He appears in an episode.
Or Clockwork Orange.
Or a Red File for Callan.
He was a fucking,
which is a television movie.
He was a Mr. Olympia contender. That guy was a fucking beast.
He was a beast, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was one of the kind of that last era of the really kind of natural looking bodybuilders. Like if you look at his physique, it's very just natural compared to the stuff, the really super muscular guys that we see.
He did steroids.
Yeah. No, I'm sure he did, but there's a huge difference between
so if you look at
that era of doing steroids and now.
So the 70s, that late 70s thing, if you look at the Schwarzenegger obviously used steroids, so did Lou Ferrigno, so did David Prowse. But if you take those guys and compare them to like Ronnie Coleman and what's his name? The big goofy looking white dude. What is it?
Flex Wheeler.
Yeah, there's another one. Anyway,
Phil Heath.
Those guys, Jesus Christ. Their steroids use steroids. It's fucking ridiculous.
Like Rich Piana. Rich Piana was this enormous fucking guy. And he just looked so grotesque. Like when you see guys that had that natural body, like Arnie, like me, like, other guys, it's kind of like, it looks more realistic, you know what I mean? It like they look just like big, normal, muscular guys. Not these like big fucking just dick skin from head to toe. Like, it looks awful, I think. I mean, I wouldn't say no. I'd rather look like that than this, but here we are.
No, man. Speaking of documentaries, there's I wish I could remember this white dude's name, but anyway, there's a documentary that follows this guy around and what he has to do to achieve that physique during, they have off season, on season. Yeah. Like he literally wakes up 4 o'clock in the morning, eats, works out, eats, works out, eats, there's nothing. It is when you are in season, when you're training for these bodybuilding competitions, you eat and work out, and that's it. You have time for nothing else.
And then you have these like massive testosterone stacks and all the stuff that they have to do, these like clenbuterol and tren and all of these cycles that they have to go through constantly. And yeah, it's rough, man. Like Ronnie Coleman, his son is a bodybuilder as well, and his son is much more kind of natural looking, I think. But he's starting to go that way now too, where he's like getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Because you can't compete in Mr. Olympia unless you are jacked like the rest of these guys.
Absolutely right, and me.
Yeah. I can see why you like Trump. It all becomes clear now.
Oh, how very dare you, sir! You know who I do like? There's one bodybuilder. His name is Kai Green. He's got this big long braid on the back of his hair. He's enormous. The guy's an absolute machine. But he's this big, humongous. He's like 450 pounds of solid muscle, and like he is one of the most beautifully soft-spoken people I've ever come across, and he's incredibly intelligent, kind of like Donald Trump. Very intelligent, just.
Ronnie Coleman. Ronnie Coleman was a police officer here, close to me in Arlington. Yeah.
Oh, really? Oh, I didn't know that.
That was his day job while he was training. What he would train to be for his first and second, I think. I think he was a cop until his fourth Mr. Olympia, and then he was done with it.
I had no idea. That's so cool.
Speaking of soft-spoken
there's some
giants. And that's how you kill that chat.
Well, I mean, yeah, obviously I'm not in a position to compete with an encyclopedic list of every bodybuilder known to man, because I don't give a shit. But apparently you guys are fascinated by it, which I can only put down to an extensive library of spank material, I guess.
I don't know if I would say I'm fascinated by it.
That's the only... No, yeah, sure. No, this is all perfectly casual. Every man on the street will know exactly who you're talking about and what they look like. It's
do you
just.
Do you know who Lou Ferrigno is? Yes, you do.
Yes, he played the Incredible Hulk,
totally.
and he was a professional. He was a professional wrestler.
He was also a professional
Come on.
bodybuilder. Okay.
I didn't know that.
Yes, you did. That's the reason why they picked him to be the Incredible Hulk, because he was a natural Incredible Hulk.
Muscly hunks is independent of whether or not they've been on a TV show.
I think a lot of it is because the only people
read into the chat.
I think it's because they're the only people capable of kidnapping me. I think the only people that could physically pick me up. I think, but it's true. Fat people are harder to kidnap. It's just a fact.
It is just a fact.
So I was supposed to tell you.
Apparently,
I was supposed to tell you guys that Craft Tequila has agreed to do, and I told this joke when the stream went down, but nobody heard it, so I'm gonna tell it again. Craft Tequila has agreed to do a Playboy style spread for the next charity live stream.
In a duck suit.
In a duck suit.
Yeah.
That's I was reading the chat. I think that's a really, really good idea.
Ooh, we have Lady Gardner says we all know Cyman Dan coordinates all globe Earth activity, given that he is a high-level NASA operative.
Damn right he does.
How the hell did that get out?
Well,
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Shady says challenge accepted. What challenge? What challenge did I? Did I lay out a challenge?
I don't think so. Oh, kidnapping you. Kidnapping you. I think that was a challenge.
Oh. Okay. All right. That makes sense now.
So yes. All right. And what did you want to talk about, Irish? I think we've apart from really muscly dudes, which you have, obviously you can go on all night about this catalog of muscly dudes that you're aware of.
100%. I definitely could. Well, I wanted to bring up the unfolding situation in Pennsylvania at the moment. Have you guys been privy to what's happened there? Or
I didn't have a chance to work on that thing that you asked me to work on.
So okay. Thanks for letting me know that. That's a good thing to know, because that could have went downhill quick. But anyway, there's a Supreme Court judge, Supreme Court justice of one of the Pennsylvania regions has ruled that the mail-in voting in that region is unconstitutional, and therefore has thrown out the mail-in votes. Now, that doesn't mean that as of right now all of those votes are defunct. It just means that it is that justice's view that is the case. So it would have to go to the U.S. Supreme Court at this point. So what do you guys make of that?
Well, I think that it's the legal process is the legal process, and we have to it's not the end of it when one judge makes a decision. And I don't necessarily need to agree with every judge's decision. So I think that it's a yeah. I kind of think that we need to sort of start showing some confidence in the process of appeals and the legal process to start working. But it's hard when individuals like that will distort their abuse or corrupt their positions
based on political leanings. I agree.
Yeah. And I kind of think that this is actually sort of peripherally related to what I wanted to talk about actually, which is the nature of discourse on YouTube actually. Because it's kind of symptomatic of what's happening in the broader community. We have a tendency to tribalize, and we have a tendency to call people we were talking about this yesterday. It was yesterday, our time. There's a tendency to demonize the opposition and suggest that the only reason they can hold an opinion contrary to ours is because they're evil. And that's just the wrong way to go about it. And we need to be aware as a community that a large number of people in this community, in the flat earth debunking community, are in the flat earth debunking community because it gives them an excuse to shout at flat earthers and pretend that they're smarter than flat earthers. But it does run the risk of getting very toxic at that point, and we need to be wary of it as a community and sort of try and get it. We need to try and hold ourselves to a higher standard, right? Than I think, because certainly the flat earthers, they just generalize about us and they say the most obnoxious things. And we've got to start, if we want to have a discussion about important social issues, we need to not start with, well, that's evil, that's corrupt, that's wrong. And try and understand how it is that a fair-minded person might get to that decision or might justify it.
Yeah, so
does that make any sense?
I generally tend to agree with that idea that we need to find out why a person thinks this thing that is inherently incorrect, or not necessarily inherently incorrect, to better understand our opposition, be it just a difference of opinion or a difference of interpretation, or the fact that somebody is obviously right and somebody is obviously wrong. Figuring out where they're coming from, what their motivation is, or what their influence is, to better understand the overall issue. I think that's important. That's an important piece for any one of us in any kind of discussion, argument, debate, or whatever, to understand where the other person is coming from, to better suit or better put together your plan to, I don't want to say combat the argument, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. Sort of I think there's an intuitive tendency to just take the most uncharitable view of something that somebody says and say, well, that person must be an evil idiotic dickhead in order to say something like that. And the truth is that there may be some really reasonable and then we sort of intuitively leapt to.
Yeah, I think to some extent there are some limits to that too, I guess, because when you're talking about, like, I think a really good example to talk about is the climate change issue. Because in particularly in the US right now, you have this kind of anti-scientific approach to climate change and anything to do with that. So I think if you approach somebody who's clearly a passionate Trump supporter, for example, and go, oh, you're a moron, Trump's a moron for saying that climate change isn't real, blah, 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 you're definitely just going to butt heads and never going to listen to it. So I agree with you there. I think a more reasoned approach to go, okay, well, maybe look at this and, maybe think about this, or, you know what I mean? Like a more reasoned approach, I think, is definitely the way to go with something like that, for sure.
Yeah, I think that, because we we tend to, sort of, being an old white guy, is pretty sweet, really. You don't, there's no problem with sexism. There's no problem with racism.
Right, because it doesn't affect you.
The world doesn't need fixing. There's none of these issues need to be addressed because we just don't experience them. My demographic just doesn't experience any of that stuff, and you need to we need to get to a point where we understand what other people are experiencing and and the perspective that they're bringing to it. And I think that, sort of where I'm not sure if I'm getting my thoughts properly ordered here, but there's a tendency to overlook, there's a tendency to just pretend that the problem doesn't exist, and it escalates the problem to the point where violent opposition or violent protest seems to be the only way to make a point. And we reinforce one another in our own social groups. We back one another up. We reinforce their belief. We reinforce one another's belief systems, and rather than as a group trying to understand what the other, trying to understand how people might disagree with us and why that might be a reasonable position for somebody to hold. And I think, sort of, we need some active process of internal criticism when we say stuff, when we assert stuff, and when we take a position. We need to sort of second guess ourselves. And I'm not always the best at that. I will freely admit, but I think that we need to start sort of holding ourselves to, like I say, our highest standard as far as this sort of behavior is concerned.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's something that it always reminds me of, and I agree. I'm the same. I always lose it with people. But one of my first bosses in security told me, kill them with kindness, that it's the easier approach. She was 4'9", tiny little lady, but she could handle the biggest, scariest dudes out there just by the way she spoke to people. So yeah, I agree. I think there's definitely there's room there for like, I know I'm going to try to be a bit more accepting of, other like flat earthers or whatever. Like, one thing I won't accept is, like, on my channel the other night, Nathan Thompson trying to derail it by going on about anti-vax stuff, and I just cut him right off. I was like, no, you fucking don't. Not on my show. You do not. I was like, no fucking way. But I wanted, like, as much as it was for a dumpster fire, nobody's denying that. I would never deny that. I did actually want to give him a chance to have his say, because I know if I was in his position and made to look like a complete twat bag, I would want to have my say too.
Wait a minute. He wasn't quote made to look like a complete twat. He made himself look like a complete twat bag.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I have no sympathy for this idiot.
I agree.
None whatsoever.
No, I have no sympathy for him. None whatsoever. But I know if I was in that position, I'd like to have my say. But anyway, it is what it is. But like, I've got no time for that dick in any capacity whatsoever. I think he's an absolute knob. But that's just me.
Yeah. It's a difficult issue, particularly with, so many flat earthers having more generally obnoxious views.
That's right.
And also just being so thoroughly dishonest. I got into a conversation. When I first joined the Flat Earth community, I think I've said this before. Ranty seemed like the person who was the most intellectually honest and the most reachable.
Is Ranty
but now he's
Ranty the one that sounds like a Bond villain?
No.
Who am I thinking of? Anyway, I'm sorry. I don't want to derail your story.
Anyway, and he was actually on the stream at the same time as Nathan Thompson was on your stream, and he just denied ever questioning seismology. I said, well, you were on one of the either Fight the Flat Earth or Team Skeptics, and you and you did, and he's gone, no, you must be confusing me with somebody else. I go, no.
Was that the chat you had with him in my side chat yesterday?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, I did catch that. Yeah.
And it was the work of like 5 minutes to work out which video it was and find the snippet. But it was a barefaced lie. He was just lying. He lied about never having talked to me before. He lied about not questioning seismic, the accuracy of seismic studies. He lied about whether or not he'd been on Fight the Flat Earth or Team Skeptic earlier this year. He just lied and lied and lied. And you're just going, well, what's the point? What is the point of talking to these people? Where they have absolutely no, they have absolutely no loyalty to the truth. I don't have to engage with them. I don't have to talk to them, and I certainly don't have to hate them. I do have withering contempt for some of the flat earthers because I think they're bad people. Demonstrably bad people, but there are good people who vote for Trump. I think that a lot of our political discourse is just, instinctive reaction. Like, the sad fact is our social system has let down a significant number of people, and they're unhappy about it. Perhaps we should focus on fixing the system.
I agree. Like, I actually saw an argument play out earlier on social media. A guy that I know, I'll leave it at that, was talking about he's very anti-socialism. It's just the commies want to come and take over and blah blah blah. And I commented, I was like, so like, what in your opinion would be commies trying to come and take over? He was like, all this socialized healthcare. I was like, well, you better not look at your police and fire service and paramedics, because that's all socialized too, my friend. I was like, are you going to get rid of them for being commies? And I've yet to get a response, but
no. Well, I mean, I think I think that's that again that's something that we do too, and sort of all humans are hypocrites to some extent. Like I certainly don't maintain perfectly compatible standards. I try to, but I just don't think that humans are designed that way. You give people you like a break, you give organizations you like a break, and organizations you don't like, you don't give them the same breaks. So it's going to work, but I kind of think that we need to get to a point where the conversation needs to last, right? If you just sort of turn up, and I feel like at least some presenters in the Flat Earth format are actually just fomenting complete intolerance in the in the chat, like they're actually advocating just yelling at people. Whereas, and certainly, on the flat Earth side, you see that. But I blocked Gary Wybenga, for instance, from this channel because he's a dick.
Yeah, yeah, it just gets over the top, right?
He came onto my channel, started being a dick, and I blocked him. I don't have to talk to these people. Meridian says that Ranty may have denied it because I mentioned science or satire being the name. If him being pedantic is exactly what I mean intellectually dishonest. If he's not going to be intellectually honest, then I've got no interest talking to the person. And it's when I find that I get most angry with flat earthers or anybody I'm talking with, when I reach the point where I'm convinced that they're not being intellectually honest. We need to sort of have a discussion, and an intellectually honest one.
I gotta say, right, like I have to echo a lot of what you're saying there. There have been times where I've been watching a stream and you might have not necessarily a flat earther, but somebody whose views may be viewed with a certain level of ridicule by all of us, and it's okay to feel that way. But I've seen ones where people have been perfectly fine, nice people, and still being called names, and I don't think that's productive. I think if somebody's being respectful and nice and actually having a conversation, even if they're wrong, even if their views are absolutely astoundingly stupid, there's nothing wrong with still having a conversation without resorting to abuse, for example. Now, actively trying to trigger somebody just to elicit a response, for me, that can be a hell of a lot of fun too. Like, I mean, I enjoy that sometimes. It just depends. It depends on the scenario. But if somebody's being perfectly nice and reasonable, I don't see a problem with saying, I think you're just wrong, or I think your views are stupid, but you seem to be a nice person. Yeah, I feel like a bit of middle ground is what's needed. Definitely.
I'm going to have to disagree with Generally Shady. I don't think that Rachie is a Poe. I think she's just an extremely difficult student in the sense that she takes a lot of convincing rather than just accepting axioms that she can work from.
Because she doesn't seem to take a lot of convincing for the flat Earth stuff.
Yeah, but that was her. Again, everybody's a hypocrite, right? Everybody comes in with their predisposed axioms, and they're slow to give them away. They've got a position that they would prefer to be true, and it takes some effort to sort of lever them away from that. And I agree. It's taking a lot of time with Rachie. I don't think it should take anywhere near that long if she's sort of dedicating herself properly to learning. Right. But it's easy for me to judge somebody else, and I have lost my temper with Rachie. And Rachie was unimpressed by it, and then she came back and she said, "You know what? Sorry, I overreacted there. I didn't mean to imply this, that, and the other." And it actually takes some character to come back and apologize like that.
For sure. I will say that
she didn't need to. And
out of all of the flat earthers that I've dealt with, and it's not been a whole lot because I'm not in the same type of position that you are, but of all the ones that I've dealt with, either in chat or whatever. She does seem to be the one who is the most willing to, or she has the most character. She doesn't come in, you know, like Vlad and calling people names or homo or none of that bullshit. She doesn't do the same shit like Nathan Thompson. She doesn't do the bullshit that Daniel Bryan does. When she does ask questions, she asks questions. Now, they may be loaded and they may be pointed and they may be trying to reinforce what she already believes, but, you know, at least she's not a jackass about it. Speaking of jackasses, what's up, Team Skeptic?
Skinny bitch. Can I just want to bring up one thing just before we continue, totally off topic. So there's a really good friend of mine watching at the moment, who's going through some pretty difficult things in their personal life, and you know, I just want to say, you know, for a lot of people at the moment, there's a lot of things going on in a lot of people's lives, and times are tough, and people are going through a lot of hard things. And so this is specifically for you, the person I'm talking to, and for anybody else out there. I am thinking about you all. I think for a long time, all day, every day, my brain's always going, and I think about all the people I know that are going through tough times, and I just want you and a lot of other people out there to know that I do think about you, and I do care about you and everybody else that's gone through rough times. And for any of you out there that's gone through anything, I am always here to have a chat with at any time. Call me, message me on Discord, email me, whatever. Just wanted to say that because I know that person's watching, and I know you're doing it tough today. So just wanted you to know I'm thinking about you. Sorry, guys, I just wanted to interject with that.
Not at all. It's always a good idea, and yeah, that's a message that needs to go out often. Yeah.
It is It is. No, I think it's really great to take the opportunity to say that. I will say that I'm a little bit more selective. There are people in this community that I genuinely esteem, and there are people I don't genuinely esteem. And sort of my efforts are slightly more directed. But I'm obviously an arrogant, judgmental turd in that way. So,
see, I think for me as well, like I can be tough on people at times. I can be tough on myself, but I'm a lot tougher on others sometimes. And when it comes down to it, for me, I don't care if somebody's a flat earther or an anti-vaxxer or whatever. If somebody's hurting,
right,
they're hurting. And in my mind, that transcends everything else. But it can be very hard to reach out to somebody that you just simply can't, get through to, as is the case, unfortunately, with a lot of flat earthers. But I get what you're saying too, though. But for me, I always kind of, I don't know. I see people's pain sometimes, and it doesn't matter to me what they've done, and it's been to my detriment in the past where I felt myself feeling sorry for people that I guess I really shouldn't have, or that a normal person would go, "Ah, fuck them, they don't deserve it." But at that visceral kind of human level, I find it very hard to ignore people's pain sometimes. But yeah, that's just me. Yeah. It's a tough one. I know it's a really tricky subject.
There are some people, it's not that I like the concept of anybody being in pain. It's just that there are times where it isn't my problem. And or I've tried to fix it, or done my best, or I'm not the person that they want to hear from, and that's quite, that's fine, because I'm a bit of a dick. But
are you a dick though?
Yeah, I don't think you're as much of a dick as you think you are.
You're the nicest dick I've ever met, and that's all gayness aside.
Well, you guys are very kind.
I do think that I think you're too self-deprecating, Tony. Sometimes I feel like you might view yourself as a bit a bit colder than you actually are, I think. I don't know why, I just get that vibe from you.
Yo, 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 yo.
Oh, no, we're in trouble now.
No, we
I
are
can
in trouble
hear
now.
him, but I can't see him, just like everybody who's ever encountered him. It's Team Skeptic.
Okay, I don't hear myself in my headphones anymore. How are you beautiful gentlemen doing tonight?
With myself and Johnny are great.
Yeah, I know, right? That was a
Um,
beautiful and absolutely accurate answer. Scientifically accurate, empirically empirically true. Me, you, and the plot hole are definitely the ones bringing the chicks around. So
Absolutely.
We're in trouble then if we're the ones bringing the
love you,
chicks.
Tony. I love you, Tony.
Oh, Bella Charge is already busting your balls.
Everybody to the kindly old uncle that sits doddering by the fire or something like that.
That reminds me of, I had a conversation at length about you the other day, Tony. A very positive conversation about you at length the other day. Believe it or not, a fan.
All right.
So
that's. I know. Tay was talking about waiting for 40 minutes before the stream started. So
she was messaging. Excited to get going. That's legit too. I'm not even fucking around. But yeah, you got a real fan there, I think.
Oh, she's very kind.
I mean, I remember the first time, I stumbled across Peach.
Grab a drink. Sorry.
Yeah, you're good. I think it was either on Fights or Teams channel, but look, and of course, I want to say it was with Flat Earth Ozzy Jesus too, the one where you two were drinking.
Mm-hmm.
That may not be the first time that I come across, but that's definitely one that I remember the most, where it was two drunk Aussies going after each other. It was the funniest fucking thing I think I've ever seen. But even then, even when you were in your state of inebriation, you were still like kindly telling him to go fuck himself.
Well, that's yes, that's a situation I look back on with some embarrassment, but people seem to like it when I told him to shut up. That certainly seems to have amused people.
See, the fact that you look at that with embarrassment tells me that you're not the dick that you think you are.
Right. Okay. Well, just means I've got double standards. That's all it is.
Oh, you know what? We got to get Team Skeptic in on this. This is like a hard fucking segue, by the way. So I don't know anybody who caught I don't know how many of you caught the live stream last night with Demon and myself, who were talking about setting up another charity live stream. Want to get all the beardsmen involved, but we'll see if we can't get good old. What the fuck was that? Oh, that was Irish coming in. Weird. What the hell? Why'd you do that? You came in all kinds of weird.
Oh, I have to come up from the bottom.
Yeah.
Because
that doesn't even make sense.
I built a fort, and so directly below me is my trapdoor. And so I just came up from there. What? You guys don't have a trapdoor under your desk?
Not for me.
I have a question about Skype. I have a question about Skype because it's not allowing me to select my camera. Why is it saying that? Why won't it allow me to even select a camera?
That's a good question. I can tell.
After all that, sorry.
I can tell that you keep trying though.
After all that, I forgot my bastard and drink.
What am I doing? How can you tell that I keep trying?
Because in Streamlabs, all the pictures keep getting resized.
No. I don't. No. I don't have a camera. It's not even giving me an option to select a camera.
I know, but you.
I was trying to turn
hit turn camera on.
Go ahead. No, I don't have a camera select. That option is grayed out for me.
Maybe that's jail warrant. No, it's not jail warrant coming in. I don't know. It may just not be set up in Skype. You may not have it may not be recognizing your webcam or your camera.
That's weird. Oh, hold on. Hold on. I have vMix open right now.
That might be why.
Let me shut vMix down. And it might be just trying to take the drivers for my camera. But yeah, let me get that set up because I'd love to be on camera with you fuck sticks this morning. Nope, not letting me.
So do you have to use like a thermal camera or something? Is that the only way you can be picked up, or how does that work?
Well, unfortunately, since I have no actual blood pumping through my body, I don't need blood because I'm a single cellular organism that just happens to be the size
So you
of
like you photosynthesize or something?
I photosynthesize, right? Yes, absolutely.
You might have to restart Skype, by the way, if you're turning off.
Well, yeah, let me do that because I'd love to be on camera with you guys. I don't want to be the only dipshit not on camera. So let me get out of this call and try to turn my camera on and rejoin.
Cool. You're not the only dipshit not on camera, JL, isn't
he? He's not a dipshit. He's a jackass. Get it right.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
But he's my favorite jackass, though. He's a fun
jackass. I like JL Warren. I think he's still mad at me for calling him
That was brilliant. I gotta say, right, lads and lassies, right? I just jumped in that stream just to listen in more than anything. And it got hot. And it was so much fun. I enjoyed that stream more than I've enjoyed a stream in a long time, man. That was awesome. The four Beardsmen got together. When was
Friday.
it? Was
it was Friday night, yeah. Well, Friday plot hole time.
Saturday morning for me, yeah. Friday freedom time, Saturday kangaroo time, and it was a great stream. I really enjoyed that so much.
Fun.
I was listening to it as I was like, I just kind of dropped in every 15 minutes or so, added a bit of shit to the pot, and then fucked off again, and that was fun. I always enjoy doing that.
It was fun.
It was great.
Getting JL riled
up. So for those
of
you who have Johnny O riled him up so hard. He said he was like the flirt. Beautiful.
I said so he every time I would say something, every time I would make a point, he would come up with some fucking fallacy bullshit. Every fucking time, right? It was that's a non-stat or no, that fallacy. It was that fallacy, and then the last one was like, dude, you're starting to argue like a fucking flat earther.
And then he was like, you could just feel this, and I was like. There was a moment of silence, actually. It was a genuine moment of silence, and everybody was like, and he's like, fuck you, motherfucker. He was like that lady in Walmart, you fucking accuser. You know that woman?
Oh, my God, that lady is batshit.
She needs to join a metal band. When that part where she was like, the kingdom of heaven. It's coming. I was like, oh my God, she needs to join a death metal band, man. She's rocking. Somebody needs to put metal music. Johnny O, you're the man. Put some metal music to that. Let's do it. Gosh of Heckfire made me one of those awesome little guitars. So I'll plug that in, put a pedal on it, and start ripping it. Let's do it.
The band.
We got to do it.
That's true.
Wouldn't it be better to do something that you're good at?
Oh,
it would.
Poof, motherfucker, poof.
Only dropping it long dick style. Listen, enjoy the Formula One, my friend. Have a great one, and look forward to talking to you soon.
Oh yeah, cheers, Thor.
Coolest name of all time, by the way. Just
Thor
saying.
Rasmussen. Yep. Because you can be Nordic and Russian at the same time.
That's not Russian.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I fucking knew you would know, Tony. I knew you would know. Where's enlighten us?
If I had to, he's definitely Nordic. I would guess he's actually Icelandic.
Icelandic, yes.
But he could be, he could be Norwegian or Swedish. It's not really.
Wrong. Yeah.
Could be Danish.
Could be.
Anyway, it's Thor Heyerdahl, for instance, was a very famous Thor. He sailed the Kon-Tiki, was it the raft from South America to Easter Island?
That's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, to prove that the colonization of Easter Island could have been from South America. He built a traditional boat and sailed it there.
That's
so
awesome.
Dark Steve says, so he's Earthish. You are correct, Dark Steve.
Correct.
Yeah. Like I say, my first guess would actually be, now let's see, he's spelling with an E. That means that he isn't actually Icelandic.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
Yeah.
That was my first thought, actually.
That was your first thought.
I was thinking if there's an E, definitely not Icelandic, because there's no E in Iceland, right?
They spell sun the same way that we do it.
Yeah, but just because there's no like the letters don't always match up. Sometimes what some of these people do will westernize their names to make it more palatable for people who don't speak those older languages that are much cooler than American.
Well,
fucking hell.
Hey, I said they're cooler than American. Come on now.
Yeah, but God.
Because we know there's a difference between English and American English. Okay.
Yes, that's right. For instance, the systematic mispronunciation of aluminium.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. Because there are letters in that don't exist.
Well, have you ever seen? Let's do all the changes then. Let's make plutonium from our uranium reactors, and and then we can use the electricity out of that to charge our lithium batteries, and so that we can put our camera in our helium balloon and watch it ascend into the sky. Like, it's IUM all around, except for you Americans and aluminium. It just doesn't make any sense. Though, or at least it doesn't make any sense to me. And that I'm the only person who counts, let's face it.
Exactly right. Like, the one that gets to me, the American English phrase that gets me, right? The one is when Americans say, "I could care less."
Oh, no. That's just they're stupid. Okay, that's just that's just somebody who doesn't know what they're fucking talking about.
Exactly. But a lot of people say it, though. They're like, "I could care less." It's like, so you do care then.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I would say I couldn't care less. Yeah. Like, I literally, if I tried, I could not care any less. I could care less.
Yeah.
It's like, so you
again,
do care.
that's just Americans being stupid when it comes to what that phrase is supposed to be. Like could have, would have, I hate that shit. Could have, would have. There's a lot of shit that's said over here that I just want to fucking slap.
Well, that's actually more. I think of the use of as English.
Yeah.
More than American.
Yeah. It's when they spell it, when they write it out. Instead of could have, it's could OF. Like no, idiots. that's just generic. I mean, we had a PhD student in the medical school.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
I didn't know that you were talking to me. Can you hear me though?
I can hear you.
Yes, we can.
Let's see. Can you guys see me?
Okay, we can see you.
I can see you, unfortunately. Yeah.
let me add your source. Hang on. Yes, everybody, you might get a little echo here in just a second. I will fix it. Make sure you tell me 100 times in the chat that there's an echo.
Yeah, that's the most important thing. Otherwise, we would never know.
I'll never know. 100 times.
And it has to be at least everybody in the chat has to say it twice.
If you don't, I won't be able to fix it.
Well done. That made the stream look
can y'all still
fantastic. Yes, we can. Well, I can hear you.
Hold on.
You get to be Old Dutch until the real Old Dutch shows up, if he decides to show up. There. Wait. Did they tell me echo, echo, echo? There it goes.
Yep. Yep.
All right, I think I fixed it.
All right.
Okay.
So
Skype just changed all my settings. Oh my god.
We got it. Sounds good. Sounds good. Hey, Johnny, there appears to be an echo.
Okay, I'll work on that. You chat, you know I love you guys.
And with that, thank you, lads and lassies. Have a great night. See you. Are we up and running?
Yeah, we should be.
All right.
Everybody's good.
Basic trigonometry says the NASA bobsled team on the left there.
Oh, look at us. We're twinsies.
Twinsies, man. Yeah, first.
Yeah. All right, we should be reconnected.
Dude, Irish, we look sexy, bro. Like, I'm looking at
I
us
know,
on
man.
stream in pause mode. We look sexy as fuck.
Yeah, we do. We look fucking dope.
I need to adjust my NASA hat so
yeah,
it's
I was
right.
just going to say I need to do the exact same thing. Hold on now. Vanity first. I need to open up my mirror here so I can see what I'm doing. There we go. Oh my god, mine looks atrocious, man.
But you have that fat head, though, so you kind of fill out your hat. I'm like an earthworm wearing a fucking toboggan hat.
You look like Earthworm Jim.
At least my head actually has mass.
What?
But yeah, man, I'm doing great, man. Bella Charge told me you guys were live today, and I was like, oh, fuck, let's go watch. Because I was unaware of it. I just woke up.
Hey, Team Skeptic, the 4 Beardsmen
getting my
go
day
live
started,
every
so.
Sunday.
Every single Sunday.
What are the 4 Beardsmen again? Can you
Those are the
remind me?
guys that actually went through puberty.
Ooh, shit. Snap.
You forgot the second half of that. You forgot the second half of that fucking statement. It said never made it to the end, though. These are the guys that went into puberty and just got stuck there.
Just
Literally, hair is growing 1 centimeter a year.
How long have you been growing that fuzz on your face, by the way?
Oh, wow. About a week and a half.
Jesus, Murphy.
I should shave online for you guys so you can see the difference. And then I won't shave again for a week, and then we'll come back next Sunday.
You should just do that on your OnlyFans. So I'll shave.
I do that, but not my face.
Oh, your asshole. Yeah.
Live asshole DJ, nice.
And I don't mean to be a dick, Bella, but I won.
What did you win?
What did you win? We all got to know now.
Okay. Team had some maths questions that apparently.
Oh, Bella. Yeah,
Oh,
Bella,
you
you
fucking
engineer,
go.
you fucking suck. Tony got it before I even finished the question. Tony already looked at it and saw the problem. Was like, hey, there's a problem here. Good on you, Tony. Good on you. Get wrecked, Bella.
All right. So anyway, before all this fun shenanigans started, we were talking about the announcement that Demon and I made last night about a second charity stream, our third charity stream. This will be the third one. It's going third charity stream. This is the one that we're going to have the Crafty Keela. She's, as long as we hit goal, she's going to appear on screen in a nice, tasteful penthouse style spread
Mankini.
with a duck suit on.
We need to make sure she's wearing a mankini.
I mean, I don't know what she's going to be wearing under the duck suit, but
I'll wear my mankini for deaths, 100%. But hey, serious though, real talk. We got to try to get as many people in on this as we can. Like, we got to try to get duck suits or duck hats. I know you've got one, Tony, so that's a good start anyway. So yeah, some duck suits, and get this, right? So my brother sent me a picture this morning of him putting a chili sauce called shit in the bed on some beef. And I was like, right, motherfucker, you think you're tough? I'm going to send you some Reaper Squeezins. So I sent him Reaper Squeezins. He's going to come on a live stream and eat the Reaper Squeezins. So that's going to be fun. That's going to be hectic. Because the last time we did something like that, he nearly died.
But you did get to drive a nice BMW.
Yep. Great.
Yeah.
Great charity live stream. Killing people online.
No, we're not going to be
online in
not really, right? So we're going to have, you know what? That would be actually kind of funny. What we should do is we have one of us dress up as Elmer Fudd or a duck hunter.
Oh my God, that would be amazing.
Whoever gets picked, whichever duck gets shot, that's the one that's whatever. Eat the wing or the Reaper Squeezins.
I like.
Hey,
it's a good idea.
Hey, so Bella and them say my audio's off by about 5 seconds. Is it off here in the interior?
Yeah, it is. Just a touch.
Oh my God.
Just put the microphone in front of your face,
like
and
that,
then it won't even look like you're perfect.
It's
Well, I hope this works for you guys, because it doesn't work for me.
Perfect. That looks great.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I was thinking that a duck suit fucking hot chili eating contest. Get my brothers on. My younger brother might do it too. He's a total pussy. He thinks mayonnaise is spicy. So if we can get him on, that'd be dope, man. He'd just absolutely die. But yeah, my brother and myself about 10 years ago, we went to a hot wing eating thing for charity, and he had a brand new BMW. I think he literally just picked it up that day. And I was just starting to drive at the time, and he was so bad from the spiciness that he was like, he couldn't drive, he couldn't talk. So he just handed me the keys, and we jumped in the car. And it's a brand new, like 5 Series BMW, piss and rain because it's Ireland. And I couldn't see out the back window. And I was like, hey, Ger, where's the back window wiper button? And he just turned around, like with his face red as my hand, and he just goes, BMWs don't have back window wipers, you fucking dick. Like, imagine being that bad that you would let me drive your fucking brand new BMW, even now, let alone 10 years ago. Jesus. But yeah, it's crazy, man.
Little Wolf said never lick the mic, so I had to lick the mic for Little Wolf. Now, I just changed a setting real quick internally on my end. Is it lined back up yet, or is it still fucking off?
Let me see. Say something.
Just do the ABCs backwards really fast.
While bouncing a ball and a hammer.
Yeah, while bouncing a ball and a hammer. And shouting
ZYXWUV.
Nathan, so what you're saying is that Nathan Thompson is better than you.
ONMLKJIHGFEDCBA.
So what you're
I
saying
think I did it right. I've never done that before, but I think I did it right.
What you're saying is Nathan Thompson is better than you.
He literally is better than you.
He's not better. Oh my God. I hate you fuck faces.
your mouth and word.
That was you.
Yeah.
Oh, was that me?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
We're all going to NASA headquarters over here. But yeah, I agree. Like my parrot can do that. Like, you know what I mean? You just show them a certain color and.
Right, my bad.
Yeah, it's just and he may be able to recite the alphabet backwards. When is that a useful life skill?
Whenever, well, hang on a second. Wait. For Nathan Thompson.
When a cop pulls you
God
over
damn
and
it,
thinks
team,
you're
shut
drunk,
up. For Nathan Thompson, with him, living in his home, that's going to be his home being his car. That's a very useful skill. Sir, have you been drinking tonight?
He got so. He got super triggered last night when I told him that I'd let the air out of his house. I was like, you keep talking like that, boy, and I'm gonna go over and puncture your house. And he's like, don't live in my car, bro. I was like, it's called a joke, you dickweed. But anyway,
yeah, he doesn't get jokes.
No, he doesn't.
No, not at all, man.
He's got mental issues.
What I thought was funny about that whole situation. Yeah, what I thought that was funny about that whole situation was that not only like he has specifically said that his home is his car on multiple occasions. So I don't give a fuck what he says in the moment just to make himself not look bad. The truth of the matter is that he looks bad on his own. He said, and very specifically, home is where the dome is. When people have pointed out that he's driving around and he's homeless. And he says, no, I'm not homeless. Home is where the dome is. So anywhere my head is, I'm home.
Exactly. Like we had an emailing battle. He was emailing me all day yesterday when it was like 4 a.m. where he was. I was like, dude, go to bed. Let's talk tomorrow, right? You know, go get your blankie, jump into the back seat of your car and go to sleep. And he was like, which car? I've got a Porsche and this other car. And I was like, dude, first of all, you don't own the Porsche, okay? Because we all know you don't own the Porsche. Second of all, it's a Porsche 944. My fiance's Camry costs more than that car. I'm like, it's not a good flex to flex somebody else's cheap Porsche. You know what I'm saying?
Buddy of mine
and he was like, yeah, but I've got the keys. Yeah, Johnny O's buddy bought two for like
$6,000.
The cost
$6,000
of
total for both of them.
Mac.
$3,000 each. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, it's not a, and then he was going on about the leather in the car, and I'm like, dude, I don't give a fuck. Like, I don't care. Like, really don't care. I was like, I thought you were vegan. I remember when he admitted on the stream with you and Fight that he was not actually a true vegan because he uses honey. And everybody was
don't remember that. No.
That was the one.
That was when he was drinking honey mead, right?
He's drinking honey mead, and I was like, honey comes from animals, you dickhead. And yeah, it was pretty funny.
Bee poop.
Bee vomit, actually.
Depending on your perspective, I guess.
Well, if it comes out of your mouth, it's vomit. I don't know. You have shit coming out of your mouth? Well, okay. Sorry.
Well, I speak out of my ass.
Never mind.
I talk out of my ass.
I retract the question.
People are saying that my audio's off again, so I'm going to shut my camera off for the time being. I'm sorry, guys.
And this
Funny Killer says my vape makes me disappear. It's actually magic vape. It's yeah, watch.
Magic vape.
But how you been, guys?
Yes, it's magic vape in that it momentarily lifts our hopes that he's gone, and then it dashes them.
Magic vape. Funny how your vape leaves your chair there. Weird how that works.
I know, right? It's one of those kind of magic vapes. It only makes the human disappear. My clothes actually stayed there too. I'm just lucky that I got back with the clothes actually fully intact and on me.
Right.
Lucky for all of you, I should say.
Yeah. Or something.
Crafty Keeler wants to know how she's going to make her Morgul memes if you turn your camera off.
That's a good question.
Well, I would have it on. It's just, I think it throws people off when my voice is off, and I don't know why it's doing this right now.
If I were in your position, I'd be very flattered that they were paying that much attention to your face. I tend to avert my gaze.
So, all right. So here's the thing.
Everybody looks at the train wreck.
Yeah. Well, there you go. That's I guess that's why I get some attention. Anyway, so you have an ongoing battle with YouTube. How's that working out for you?
Yeah, well, they responded to me and told me, oh yeah, after further review, you do actually violate what the WHO's policies are. And I'm like, you didn't even watch the video, did you? You didn't even watch the fucking video. It may actually take. You know what? There's somebody I watch a lot. I mentioned him in my last stream, Penguin Zero. He actually has got a upcoming conversation with Susan from YouTube coming up. I emailed him and I was like, look, dude, I'm not looking for clout or any kind of free fucking subscribers. But when you talk to her, here's my video. This is an exact example of the reason why. That YouTube needs to figure out something better, because they've got places out there like Parler and Storyfire and a few other places that are completely censorship free. Okay. So I'm okay with a little bit of censorship. I am a pro-speech First Amendment guy, but I also believe that you can't just give out, information to people that will cause people to get hurt. I think that needs to be addressed. So I can understand why they say, oh, you know, we need to remove videos that explicitly talk about the WHO or go against what the WHO's guidelines are. Well, here's the thing. Those other places aren't removing them. So if the people that can't see them on YouTube can see them over there, then it's being uncontested. And it's not, and I'm sorry, but people aren't going, if you're already in the mindset that the WHO is lying to you, you're not going to go to the WHO's website to verify anything that's being said. So people like me are necessary. And I wrote Penguin Zero and told him, I was like, look, man, you know, I'm not looking for any clout, but dude, this is going to cost people's lives, you know? Like YouTube deciding to remove my video, which contests this bad idea, is going to cost lives in the long run. Because that now you don't have the opposing opinion. You don't have the pro-science opinion coming from a person who's putting it out in a way that the average viewer will find not just entertaining, but informative as well. You know, it kind of engages the viewer to be pro-science. That's kind of the purpose of my channel. And I wrote in that and I said, you ain't got to mention it. You ain't got to tell me, you know, bring me up on stream or anything like this. But I would, if you could just bring this to Susan's attention and say, look, this is not just this video, but this is happening to people across the board. And it's a very, very, very specific example of of a misuse of their algorithm, you know, and I even pointed out a timestamp in the video where I said, according to the WHO, I mean, I literally said, according to the WHO. Right. And I said, and pretty much any and all scientific institutions or medical institutions across the world say this. I was literally being pro-WHO, pro-science, pro-medicine. And they took me down. And then I'm pulling up the actual email she sent me. She said, hi there, thank you for reaching out. I hope you're still doing well today. I'm sorry I was not able to get in touch with you earlier, but as promised, I'll make sure to provide you possible solution to your issue. If you see the video removed inappropriate content message next to one of your upload videos, it means the video in question has been found to violate our community guidelines. Now, I'm not going to go through the whole thing that part says, but then I wrote them. I said, let's see, hi, I received your email and I'm a bit confused. Are you still investigating the issue with my video that was removed, or have you received a final resolution? Thank you. She responded, hi there, thank you for your response. As what we've discussed is that your video has been removed due to inappropriate content. However, if you believe that your video was removed in error, you can file an appeal. That's the thing. I can't file a fucking appeal. And it says this video is ineligible for appeal.
Wow.
It says, please refer to the link that was sent earlier. I did that. Again, this video is not eligible for appeal. So I'm at a position where I can't get the video back. Fuck, man. I hate that shit. Just hate it.
I just don't understand why that is the course of reaction. I just don't get it. Like, it seems that a lot of this shit really ramped up about 3, maybe 4 months ago. Like it started when I don't want to say the fucking words because God forbid we get, you know, shut down, but it started when the plague hit and everybody was going home. Like I can understand that, right? It's the very beginning of the plague with them not having the same type of infrastructure for people to be able to do their jobs at home, right? With YouTube and working algorithms and whatnot. But we're far enough into this shit now where, I mean, my wife does some pretty, I don't know, high level banking for multi-million-dollar clients, and she can work from home just fine and still have secure connections and, you know, all this shit. It just seems to me like a multi-billion-dollar company like Google would be able to get YouTube, you know, people working from home and be able to do reviews. Because it seems like your video, there were just choice words in your video that said, no, we need to take this down because it violates, when in fact it doesn't.
It doesn't. It didn't violate it at all. It's promoting it. It's promoting the very thing you say I'm violating, that I'm not promoting. You know, they're saying I'm telling people to ignore the WHO's guidelines when I'm telling them don't.
Can you clip that? Can you clip that specific bite and send it to him and say, how does this violate?
That's a good fucking question. In fact, I'm gonna thank you for suggesting that. because what I'll do is I'll go grab that clip. I know exactly where it's at. 6 minutes and 23 seconds in. I'll go grab that exact fucking clip and I'm gonna pull it out. And I'm gonna send another email to her and I say, this is specifically in my video. How is this going against what the WHO is saying?
Yeah, because I mean,
and then I'm gonna remind her I can't file an appeal because I've already had to file one appeal to get the monetization on the video.
Right.
Which had no problem monetizing the video and making the money off of it for 4 months.
It's just great. See, shit like that bothers me because I'm a smaller creator, obviously. Maybe not in physical size, but in actual, numbers. And I tackle this stuff too. In a different way, of course. I don't necessarily go more the scientific route that you do. I'll bring some science into it, but I just point and laugh at these assholes. And if they're going to take down somebody who has scientific evidence in their presentation to back up their position and says this is the reason why you should listen to the WHO and the CDC and all the professionals telling you to socially distance and put masks on and this, that, and the other, what are they going to do to a guy like me who says, hey, you're stupid for not putting a fucking mask on, or you're this, or you're just a piece of shit? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can say that if there's any lives that are lost because of this thing right here, that's on fucking YouTube. You know what I mean?
I just no weird that they would. It seems like. Is it just me, or do you? Because this is not the first time that you've had issue with YouTube.
No, not at all.
It seems like you guys have an adversarial kind of relationship.
And it's crazy because it's not like everybody in this community has that problem either. It's just well, I would say, Creaky Blinder was complaining about it a while ago, and I don't know that Creaky's situation is the same as mine. He could have just been going through a lull as far as being promoted out, Me, I went from having 300 new subscribers a day to 0. Like one day I had 300, the next day it was like 10. Yeah. And I was like, wait, what? I go and I look at my impressions. It was like 30,000 impressions the day before, 40,000 impressions the day before, 5,000 the next day.
Wow.
And so I don't know that. I mean, Creaky never really provided any of his analytics for me to compare to what I'm going through, but I do remember him complaining about it. So I'm not saying he didn't go through it. I'm just saying that I don't want to assume that he did, but I know for a fact that other creators are not going through this issue the same way that I'm having to deal with it. Not in our community, at least. So it could be the fact that I'm covering the Karens, that I'm covering COVID, that we had a few political live streams during the election. Could be many things, because a lot of the political commentators are going through this right now. But
they're not shutting down Fox. They're not shutting down MSNBC. They're not shutting down CBS.
I don't know. It just frustrates me, man. Big time.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it does. It does seem to be a little. Yeah.
Like, I actually noticed it, like, on a much smaller scale, obviously, with my channel, and myself and team talked about it on a live stream a while ago, where I posted a video, and I can't remember which one it was. Let me just I'm actually just going to check real quick. And I was talking about how, like, usually my videos, they tend to get most of their views within, the first hour, first 2 hours, thereabouts, right? But this one video I put up, let me just see which one it was. Yes, so it was the Flat Earth Space Soda Can, right? When I put that up, the first 24 hours, I had 60-something views, which is not normal for me. Usually I get about 450 within the first day, and then it kind of goes slower after that, right? And like for example, one I put up about Nathan Thompson is a Karen, that one I made where he went in causing trouble in a vegan restaurant. That one got 1,000 views in the first hour or so, first 2 hours maybe, and now it's at 2,000. but I didn't have the term flat Earth in the tags or in the description or in the title. But this time I wanted to actually test it, and that's why I put that video out there with the term flat Earth in the title. And it just absolutely got nuked. A lot of people said that their comments were deleted on it. They didn't get notified of it. And then I did the stream afterwards talking about YouTube censorship, and same thing happened. A lot of people didn't get notified, comments being deleted. And I have said it since day one. I absolutely never delete comments. It doesn't matter what they say. Yeah. I do not delete comments. That's just the way it is. Unless it's one of those meet young women in your local area. I delete those, obviously. Yeah.
No wonder nobody's coming to my website, you son of a bitch. I've been leaving that on your fucking website for months now, trying to draw traffic.
See, Tony's got the most. He's got the most safe content. He's making, like balloons and whatnot, and everybody's, oh, it's so awesome, balloons. Yeah, I can watch a balloon float, and scientific content.
Yeah.
So Tony, how is the you?
Don't talk about his head that way.
I was leaving it ambiguous. You had to go there. So that's on you. So how has YouTube been treating you there, PhD Tony?
It's been treating me reasonably well. I'm still working on my helium balloon video, and I should get that out. But haven't been feeling particularly well the past week or so. But it's I have, however, noticed that sort of the rate at which I'm acquiring subscribers slowed dramatically, like really, really slowed dramatically. And so I think I was quite fortunate to get over 1,000 when I did, because I haven't had that many join since. Like I was at 1,000. I think at the time of my 1,000 subscriber special, I had like 1,080 subscribers, and that was over a month ago, and I got like 30 in the time since. So it's getting subscribers has become really, really hard, apparently.
Well, I'd like to point something out. Like, I was noticing, like, there was one day, right? I got up and I walked away from my computer, came back about 10 minutes later, and I noticed that I had dropped there was two different times. There was one time when I walked away and I came back and I noticed like 60 of unsubscribed almost instantaneously. Yeah. Within 10 minutes, I'd lost 60 subscribers. Then there was a day that I was sitting there looking at the screen, and I see the number drop to 80 or drop 80 subscribers. It was either like 80 is what I saw when I left and came back, and 60 was when I saw it live, or 60 and 80. But they were very specific numbers that I saw, and especially one of them I saw live. I was looking at it, and it just goes, boom, drops down. And I was like, what the fuck? First off, 60 people did not unsubscribe in that very moment. It's just, that would take some exceptional coordination.
Seems like some shadow banning going on.
Now, well, it's a couple of things. It could be that they're purging accounts that they find are sock accounts. I get a lot of sock accounts that sign up and subscribe to me because, like, Daniel Pratt's water heater, right? That's not the guy's main account, obviously. I mean, that's a sock account, So while he's not going to have it deleted because he's active, there are probably a lot of people that at the beginning of when I started my channel, they would create sock accounts and go in there to fuck with me or fuck with other people or whatnot. And those aren't active anymore. And they might be removing those, and that's understandable. I'm okay with that. But God, you guys have no.
Oh no!
I mean, I'm sure you do. I'm saying from my perspective.
Yeah, it's in a much smaller scale for me. Like I would, last month or month before, I got up to 888 subs. Like, all right, sweet, I'm on the way, and then they dropped down to 842. I was like, what the fuck? And it was crazy. And then I got back up to 888, and then would go down to 886, 887, 886, 888. And so I've noticed it too. It's much smaller scale, of course, because I don't have 30,000 subscribers like other people who might be on this stream. But yeah, I have noticed it. I'm not sure if Demon's noticed it, but definitely.
Yeah, I have. After I put out that the Flat Earth one and the YouTube censorship one, it actually, funnily enough, grew again after that one for some reason. But prior to that, there was one day where I was at about I think I was at about 1,750 subs or something like that. And I was doing some editing, whatever, and I checked it and it dropped by like 26, I think it was. And I said to Mrs. Demon, I was like, my thing just dropped 26 subs. That seems a bit much, like all within, a half an hour or whatever. And she was like, oh yeah, but people just like unsub sometimes. I was like, yeah, sure, but 26 people in an hour? I was like, I haven't even put out anything new that like there's been times where I've said stuff on live streams that people will be like, I didn't like this, I'm never watching your channel again. I'm like, cool story, bro, take care. Yeah. But never 26 people when there has nothing new being put up, it's definitely there's some fucketry.
It could be a response to something that somebody said on another channel. If you're being brought into another channel's discussions and they go, oh well, this guy's a dick and you shouldn't subscribe to him, they may come over and unsub from you.
That's true.
Or they may just...
Tony, we know that never happens on YouTube, bro. Come on now.
It in fact happened to me. So
it sure did.
My 1,000 subscriber special, I made a 1,000 subscriber video, and as a result of the video I made, a bunch of people decided to unsubscribe, and I went down below 1,000 subscribers, and then I went back over 1,000 subscribers. So it may not happen to you. You're such a wonderful person, but yeah, it's just there are multiple explanations. It could just be, for instance, that YouTube saves them up and does them all in one hit, and they sort of trickle through the system. So you may have different YouTube servers that are recording these unsubscribe signals, but they don't all get coalesced until a particular point. There's a lot of I've noticed that there are multiple ways to get your sub count estimated. They don't agree with one another. So it's there's definitely a lot of arcane detail to what goes on. Doubtless everybody in the chat is absolutely fascinated by this sort of stuff.
Yeah. I could tell that every one of them, they're like on the edge of their seats with this riveting conversation about four dudes who are complaining and bitching about their first world problems.
Well, that's what they're here for, is for us to whine about how our useless subscribers aren't doing enough to make sure we live in luxury. I've lost count of how many times Teen gets onto his stream. All he complains about is, just how painful it is to make content for his subscribers. Have I ever told you about my favorite author, Jack Vance?
I don't think
so. My favorite author, he's a fantasy and science fiction author, is Jack Vance, and he started out as a mystery writer, but then, yes, little wolf, you may shield your channel. But then he went to a convention where he met a lot of his fans, and he didn't like them, and it became impossible for him to actually write books for these people. He disliked them that intensely. Wow. So he changed genres from mystery to science fiction and fantasy, and never went to a convention ever again.
That's pretty smart, if it's pissing you off, might as well not meet him.
Yeah.
Don't take the chance.
That's right. Don't take the chance. It's a But a team has met his fans, so Demon Orb, sure, why not? Why can't you, Shell? Go right ahead. You should. Everybody in the chat should definitely just subscribe to
everybody
channels they like.
Everybody they enjoy.
Team Skeptic, obviously, you should subscribe to him. I feel young up and comer who needs all the assistance we can have trickle down to him.
He is in the rear view.
Yes, thank you, Tony, for
problem.
Thank you, Tony, for pointing out. Hopefully helping my channel grow at least by like 50 or 60,000 subscribers. I'm sure that'll happen after that recommendation.
I'm sure it will. This is trickle down economics in the sense that in the sense that Team Skeptic's channel is just like a stream of piss that trickles down the inside of your leg.
Fucking.
Or how about dribbles of poop, right?
Yeah, so which is worse?
After my last live stream.
Oh, that's terrible.
Sorry. Did I say that out loud?
The Mexican Bob says no ban team.
Well, the Mexican Bob is very unhappy with your team. I'm not sure
His
if
name
you
is the Mexican Blob, guys. Come on.
Okay.
And he knows I love him. He knows I love him. I just fuck with him out there. But yeah, he's another person that comes around a lot, and I appreciate everybody that comes around and actually. I like when people troll me, to be honest with you. Me and you, Tony, were talking about this earlier, or I guess yesterday. How I appreciate that. I like the fact that people engage themselves with me to the point that it becomes something less content creator viewer and more community. Like I'm not the chat is not a part of the chat community. They're a part of my community, and I'm a part of their community as well. And I think that I take that approach, and it really works well for me because it allows me to be a little bit more relaxed with what's that.
We're in trouble now.
What happened?
Is Jael here?
Oh shit. Fuck, I gotta go.
Team, thank you so much for keeping my seat warm for me.
Yeah, no problem.
There he is.
So, my apologies to all of you and to everyone in the live chat for my tardiness. I got a call to go out to work at 4 o'clock in the morning and to fix somebody's heater. And that thing was a bitch because I didn't immediately have the part, so it took forever. I didn't get to sleep. I actually passed out like about 5:30, and I had my alarm set. And my wife tried to wake me up before she went to work, and apparently that was just a no-go.
Was not happening.
It was not happening. So then all of a sudden I woke up in a start, kind of like, I'm awake. What's going on? And I look at my phone. I was like, shit, and then ran around like a chicken with my head cut off. Got my wake up juice and rushed my ass back over here. So I could be punished by Jessica G for being late. So.
Jessica G is allergic to political discussions and fled as soon as the subject went to
politics.
Went to politics.
Probably because she knew I was going to come around. She just scared me.
It's also worth pointing out that where she is, it's 5 a.m. in the morning or something like that.
Yeah.
When the stream starts, Alien X Gaming wants to come on and give Team a hard time. I'm not sure that we can tolerate that sort of bullying. But
yeah, I'm very sensitive, guys. Please, don't say anything mean about me because I do tend to cry a lot when I'm not on camera.
This is true.
Yeah, I went
like not unlimited.
Sounds like a you problem, man.
Yeah, it becomes everyone's problem when I hit the end stream.
Oh shit! He's like, motherfuckers, I got the power.
What if you want to be that fucking way?
Yeah, Tony, before you rage quit, Tony, let me tell you something real quick. I do want to say, I know I told you earlier how much I appreciate your friendship, but I really want everybody out in the world to know that I do truly appreciate your friendship. I appreciate your mentorship that you gave me earlier, and I think you helped me see what I was seeing in a bad light. I think you helped me to see it in a more proper light, and I don't think I would have got that speaking to many other people, so thank you very much. I don't know if I could tell you how much you're doing for me, but thank you very much.
It's my pleasure, team. Always, literally my pleasure to be able to help out somebody I really think very highly of. Obviously I don't need to give Demon or Johnny O or JL advice. Have you seen Johnny O's kids? He's living the life. And have you seen Mrs. Demon? Demon's doing quite well for himself. So
Sure
not going to.
She just came home.
Can I ask you a favor? Demon, can I ask you to do me a favor? I just want to see something. Can you raise your right hand, please?
Oh, God.
Uh-oh.
No, okay, and repeat after me.
Repeating.
This
is
Mrs. Demon.
Okay. Hey, hold on. Let me get her. Jen. Woman.
She's gonna throw things at you.
I've seen
Woman.
I'm impressed.
Woman.
I knew my Team Skeptic thinks that this is Mrs. Demon. Team Skeptic thinks that
Wait, hold on, how much are you paying? Are you PayPaling her right now?
Yeah,
I need to see your receipt.
You can't see this, but I'm passing her 50s under the table to say, can you confirm that you're a real person? Say yes, and I'll give you extra money.
He has a little soundboard he's playing with right now.
Yep.
Don't fucking tell
Well,
him.
when I come out to Australia to go visit all my favorite fucking people in the world, because the Aussies, they love me so much, and I love them back so much. I think it's because Aussies are typically a little bit less sensitive, a little bit more rugged, and I think it just fits my style. So I think I just naturally have a lot of Aussies, and I do a lot of late night stuff. So that's kind of midday for them. So it does make it easier for me to get an Aussie audience than it does for sometimes to get an American audience. Now, especially when I'm doing my gaming streams and I'm doing them at like 10 to 4 in the morning, and I don't expect Americans to stay up for 6 hours while they're supposed to be sleeping. Most people have a job, like they have to go to. The Aussies, they're all broke and homeless and shit. So they'll just anywhere, anytime, anywhere. But it matches up with their schedule, as well as it matches up with like that rugged, just non-sensitive way of thinking that I get from the Aussies. I appreciate that. So
yeah, I was saying earlier in the stream that we do need to have Australians can be a bit heedless of the mental health of people around them on occasion, and sort of the whole guys need to be tough thing can get a bit toxic. Yeah. But generally, so with those conditions in place, you seem to have a sense of humor that's a very good fit for Australians. I actually met a Japanese PhD student, and I was floored by the fact that he had a very Australian sense of humor. He just, if there was a joke that he could lean into, he was going to lean into it, and he was just really, really good. So a very un-Japanese sense of humor. I'm not sure where he got it from.
Well, the American sense of humor is dying out every day to people's feelings. I hate that.
Yeah. Me too, man.
There is a little
You've still got Bill Burr, haven't you?
Still got Bill Burr.
Yes.
Yeah, we do, I guess.
He kind of irritates me.
There's a lot of funny people out there. There's a lot of funny people. Dave Chappelle is one of my favorite. I've met Dave Chappelle in real life. Right? I met him in person, and he'll tell you all day long, man. You can't. Comedy is comedy, okay? And when it comes to comedy, either everything's on the table or nothing's on the table. You know, you either can joke about it or just don't say any jokes about anything, because any joke, a joke by default, is almost always going to be making light of someone's negative situation. And it's unfortunate, but it's a joke. You know, I mean, sometimes you just got to realize that it's a joke. And there's value in comedy. There's value in, you know, maybe taking the seriousness out of a certain situation and making a little bit, you know, poking a little fun at it, being a little lighthearted with it. It doesn't make it right. You know, let's say it's an awful situation. It doesn't make the situation right, but sometimes it even helps people cope with their situation, you know, regarding that. So I am 100% pro free speech, and I'm 100% behind comedy not being seen as hate speech. There is hate speech that people try to do and use it as comedy, and I don't appreciate that. But a lot of times, a lot of comedy can be misconstrued as hate speech, you know, and it's really not.
It was, what was it? Jim Jeffries on one of his stand-up specials was talking about. It's the one where he starts out talking about Bill Cosby and says you can't talk about rape as a joke. He said, well, I just done it for 10 minutes, but he was talking about reading a review, and I said, yeah, when you read whatever, I forget what his opening lines were. It doesn't sound very good, does it? But it's the performance part of it. Yeah, I mean, look, people, laugh a little more. It's okay to joke. It's okay to tell stupid jokes. It's okay to fucking, you know, I mean, it's a joke. It's one thing to say.
Like, I got shit for bringing up Mad Mike. I was like, okay, but come on now. You know,
Why?
The dude passed away like over a year ago, I think. And you know, all in all, it's an unfortunate situation that he lost his life doing what he loved to do. But I don't think that if he was able to speak today, he would say, for the next infinity number of years, I need everybody to be sad for me. No, it's, at some point you gotta get around and joke a little bit about it, and you gotta move the fuck on. And sometimes it gets lost.
Gilbert Gottfried, famous American comedian. You may remember him as the parrot from Aladdin, or the accountant from The Untouchables. Or
the duck from the Affleck commercials.
He famously told a 9/11 joke the week after it happened, in a New York comedy club.
Oh, that was actually it was at the Hugh Hefner roast.
Right, and you know, he was you know, and I thought it was actually a strong point. What, this is going to get funnier later on. You know, there is a natural grieving process, but there's also it's going to get funny at some stage, and perhaps getting funny, you know, getting past it needs some help, and perhaps comedy can help with that. Go on.
I was just gonna say I love what Clive Wells is saying in the chat right now, because he's absolutely right. That's another person, Ricky Grievous, who's right now in a battle.
Ricky Gervais.
Yeah, Gervais. I'm sorry, Gervais. Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know why I call him Ricky. But anyway, he's in a fight right now for comedy. You know, he is fighting against the idea that comedy is hate jokes or is hate speech, and you know, eventually, if we allow us to continue to push us towards this like Orwellian way of thinking when it comes to comedy, to where nobody can ever joke about anything, you know, because the joke itself, the fact that you're joking can be considered a lie, the fact that you're joking can be considered hate speech, the fact that you're joking can never at any point in the future be considered comedy, because it's not comedy, it's a hate speech, it's, you know, lying, it's whatnot. Here, I want to give you all an example, and I thought this was a really good example, and I think it was also Dave Chappelle who said it. but there was a live stand-up, and they were talking about Chris Brown and Rihanna. And for those people that are non-American, they may not know this, but Chris Brown was charged with domestic abuse, against Rihanna. Yeah, he's not a good guy. I'm not here to defend him or anything like that. But Dave Chappelle made a joke, and he said, "Yeah, Chris Brown got caught for domestic abuse." He's like, "I wonder what Rihanna did wrong." You know, like, it was a joke. It's obviously he wasn't saying that Rihanna deserved to be beat. You know, he wasn't saying that Chris Brown is in the right because Rihanna is just being a petulant woman. You know, he was just joking. It was just to make you laugh. And the joke landed.
It's ridiculing the concept that allows domestic abusers to blame the victims for their violence, because that's what they do. And it ridicules the whole concept that the person doing the abuse is not responsible. It sort of touches on that, and like a lot of comedy, it's really it takes something and just changes the way we we look at it, we think about it. If you've ever seen Jimmy Carr's stand-up sections, you should. He pushes some boundaries. But there's another British comedian, Jonathan Pye, who makes the point that sort of political correctness has gotten to the point where if somebody misspeaks during an interview, or somebody says something clumsily, or somebody just doesn't think about how it's going to sound, they get crucified. It's like having thought police. The whole idea is Orwellian, and like I was saying earlier, it feeds into this. Well, that's evil. That makes you evil. You're never going to be not evil because you are inherently evil because you said this thing. And that's not the way morality works, right? A good person can say something, a thoroughly good person can say something clumsy, or can say something stupid, or can say something thoughtless. And if we're going to get to a better place, we kind of need to not be so anal about about this sort of crap. And I will also point out that it seems to be a property of whoever is winning the culture war at the time, right? So back when conservatives were winning the culture war, there was strict limits on references to sex, or or disrespect.
Homosexuality.
Disrespect for religion or the government, or and nowadays, now that that sort of liberalism is more dominant, it's stuff that liberalism doesn't approve of, which kind of makes liberalism, it's kind of against the liberal ideals of actual liberty and freedom, and it's just a sort of it becomes an equally cynical exercise in, well, now we're doing well, so nothing needs to change. So any form of criticism and any form of self-examination is just verboten, and people are having their political careers ended for stupid shit,
or any kind of career, really. I mean, I understand what you're talking about specifically,
or any kind of career. Yeah.
How about even a YouTube career can be ended based on groupthink and like hive mind mentality, we don't like this guy, let's cancel him because he made this joke.
And, do you guys remember the Don
point.
Imus?
It's a fucking joke.
You guys remember the Don Imus incident? Well, incident, but I guess the most recent one, whenever he called the Duke women's basketball team nappy-headed hoes.
I remember that. I remember that.
Right,
wow.
So,
yeah.
D.L. Hughley gets on CNN and says, "Hey, he had," or not CNN. He gets on what's his name? Guy with the suspenders. Larry King gets on Larry King's show and says he has every right to say that, every right to say nappy-headed hoes, and he does.
Yeah.
Right? And D.L. Hughley took such a huge backlash. He was on tour that year, and he played the Bass Hall, and my father got us tickets. So we went to go see D.L. Hughley, and because of this, because of the backlash from that, I actually got to sit 6 rows behind Deion Sanders, so that was actually kind of cool. But the Bass Hall was damn near empty. We had balcony seats, and when we looked down, we had the ushers come up and says, "Hey guys, don't worry about it. D.L. Hughley wants everybody to come up front." So we got upgraded because of this, which was kind of a cool thing. But they had the stupidest thing they did was they bought all of his tickets and didn't show up to the show. It's like, okay, thanks for the money.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's a, and there is a sort of, people get so self-righteous, right? And so and they just don't look at themselves critically and think, well, what if I've actually fucked this up? What if I have a bias?
Mm-hmm.
What if I misspeak?
Right.
Would I want people treating it like? Would I want people reacting to it like this? And it just but they're so keen to be just crusaders in some imaginary conflict of ultimate good versus evil that they're so desperate for that they just throw all their reservations out the door and just go with it. I am the force of good, everybody else is the force of evil. Mm-hmm. Except for the other people who agree with me.
Well, so the point that I was trying to make is that even if you witness some of this canceled bullshit and you speak out against it, like Nathan Thompson has every right to go around telling everybody that the Earth is flat. That's his right? I don't think he should be going to schools and doing that. There's a safety issue there, but he has every right to tell people the Earth is flat. I disagree with his position for, obvious reasons, but I'm not going to actively try and stop him from saying what he wants to say. Say whatever the fuck you want to say. Don't care. You're inherently wrong, but if you want to say it, say it. And that type of defense of somebody who says what some people find offensive can get the defender canceled. It's this whole cancel culture business.
I hate it, bro. I hate it. I hate that cancel culture shit because people get canceled for no reason at all because of groupthink. That's the biggest bullshit in the world is groupthink.
Yeah. It's out of control. There's so many creators that have been destroyed by it for making, what is considered to be a mistake or whatever. It's completely out of control.
Okay, I want to read something off that was a comment left on my video, and I want to say thank you, J.L. Warren, for getting me in shit, okay? Because this is all about a comment that you made, and it was from it was in the last time I had you guys on, remember, when we were making fun of Nathan Thompson?
Right.
And you had said something about when he was going, moderator, you had made the comment that it was similar to that video that was captured in a GameStop when the guy was like, or the girl was like, it's ma'am.
Mm-hmm,
yeah, and you had said that, right? Now, I got a comment on that video, and I'm not gonna point out the person that said it in case this person's watching it. I don't find offense that you left the comment, but I do want to point out, I do think it was a bad take on it. It says, at 155, you really have to reference that transphobic as fuck meme. First off, it had nothing to do with the fact that the person was trans, okay? If the person was straight and a full female, you know, and was acting like that in the GameStop, that was the funny part about the whole thing. It wasn't the fact that it was somebody saying, it's ma'am, it's ma'am. I think it was more of the fact that somebody was flipping out over the fact that the person in front of them was making an accidental mistake. The people obviously were not intentionally misgendering this person. It was just the person was upset, and you could tell the person behind the counter was super nervous. And because of the nervousness, he kept making the mistake.
And it kept Sasquatch of a woman yelling at you. Yeah, it makes you kind of nervous.
Yeah. but the thing is that JL was referencing that as to say that Nathan was holding the same type of attitude. It had nothing to do with the fact that the person was trans. It really didn't. It was simply the fact that the person was yelling at this person and Nathan was doing the same thing, and JL did. I thought it was funny. You know, I honestly found the humor in it. And apparently there were other people that didn't, that took that as an offense towards trans people. And I was like, I think you're missing the point. I don't think it was that JL was trying to make Nathan seem to be some kind of trans person who was acting a certain way. That wasn't what JL was saying. He was just bringing up the other aspects of the video. So just because there was a trans person in the video or in the meme or whatever the case may be, and it's popular now, people know what the reference is when you say it. It's part of pop culture. Right. So when JL was making that, he was not referencing the fact that Nathan was acting trans or anything like that. He was just saying that there was a similarity in the way that he was addressing the person, where you're replacing the trans person with Nathan Thompson and the person behind the counter with James, the moderator. And I think that it just got lost because there was no, like, people weren't willing to see the connection there because they only wanted to see it.
Well, I think that, thank you for bringing it up, Tim. That may have accounted for some subscriber loss, but I may have made the joke knowing that virtually everybody in the community knows that I'm bi, knows that I'm a member of the LGBTQ community, and I think I rested my laurels on that fact. Thinking that I can make this joke because I can reference that because people will know it's not in the vein of being transphobic. Because I'm pretty sure that everybody out there knows that I'm not transphobic and that it was a commentary on the behavior, on the extremity of the behavior. And so, team, you're correct on that. And I don't know how funny it was. It just seemed to match up at the time. So
the thing is if somebody says something transphobic, I stand up. Like, look at Austin Whitsitt, right? I mean, the moment that he started with that bullshit transphobic shit, I fucking spoke up and was like, we're not having that shit here. It wouldn't be welcome on my channel. So if I felt you were being transphobic, I would have definitely put you in your place right then and there. And I didn't. So I even had to go back and watch it. I was like, whoa, did I miss somebody being transphobic on my fucking panel? And I go back and watch it and I'm like, that's not... J.O. Warren's not being transphobic there, like I don't get the connection. I mean, I guess I can see why they drew that parallel, but I think they had a bad take on it, I haven't responded to the person because it may have been a gut reaction to just referencing the video because the video itself was taken as being transphobic, that they were mocking the individual who was upset. So the video itself seems transphobic because I referenced something that was transphobic that inherently made what I said.
But it wasn't transphobic. That's the thing. You know what I mean? The reference of the video was just, it was an honest mistake. I mean, look, and that's another thing, right? So a lot of people want to jump to offense on some things. When you have to look at this the transgender movement, it's still relatively new, especially in American culture. So when you have people who, the identity politics, so to speak, when you have people who are coming in who are transitioning, but you still very much look, sound, and act like a man, I'm sorry, but that woman was acting like a man. She even said so herself. If you want to see a man, step outside. I'll show you a man, or sir. So she was weaponizing. She was weaponizing her transition. Number one. Number two, if anybody was being transphobic, it was the person who found the offense in being called sir on an accident. we still, you know, people still react to what we see in the way that we were taught was, quote, the correct way.
Well, I want to say, you know, sort of, I had Micro Raptor on the charity live stream we did for the Trevor Project, and I misgendered her at one point, used the wrong pronoun, and I was very apologetic for it. But mistakes happen. It's not that I don't. It wasn't an intentional sign of disrespect, and there's a difference there. Right. And you know, Micro Raptor found it funny because the next time I referred to her, it was as young lady. I think I was telling her off. I think I was telling her to behave herself, young lady. But
I have a similar thing with Micro Raptor. I had said bro, and she was like, "Don't call me bro," and I was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. It's not. I wasn't calling you bro. I call everybody bro. Everybody do it. So I'm so sorry, but it was not unintentional, you know."
But you know, people can screw up, and that's okay. You know, you don't. I don't want to be crucified for every screw up. I don't want to be living in fear that I'm going to misspeak and end up on somebody's shit list. And I think that the other side of it is that just because somebody is transsexual or is a member of the LGBTQ community doesn't somehow make them different from the rest of humanity. They don't automatically become a saint. They don't automatically become unable to be a jerk. You know, there are plenty of deeply unpleasant people who are members of the LGBTQ community, and it's okay to tell them that they're a deeply unpleasant person because you're judging them on their qualities as a person, right? Not as their, you know, it's got nothing to do with their sexuality. It's got nothing to do with race or gender, race or gender identity or religion or whatever. A jerk is a jerk, and it should be possible to call a jerk without, you know,
without bringing all that bullshit into it. Yes.
Without the bullshit being brought into it, that you're being discriminatory or whatever. No, I am criticizing somebody on the basis of their properties as a human being. They remain a human being. That is a valid thing for them. That is a valid thing for me to do. As soon as I start talking in generalities about this particular class of person having some sort of, you know, this person is bad because of their race, their gender identity, their religion or whatever, that's when I've crossed, right? That's when I've transitioned into doing something that's completely unacceptable.
Agreed.
So yeah, it's a complicated dynamic, and there's a lot of stuff we're still getting used to. Yep, that's a good idea. So yes, it's 2:30 in the morning for me, so yes, so I've had 4 hours sleep in the last 24, so I'm feeling tired. Baby. I'm feeling tired, and it's my channel. You guys can't stay here.
Sorry about that. I had to go get rid of a spider.
Oh.
I want to remind everybody I licked my mic today. It smells like my tongue now.
I am rather interested in the fact that you know what your tongue smells like, because I would not be able to tell. People could wave something under my nose.
Well, it smells like my butthole, obviously.
Oh, Jesus.
Exactly.
Okay. You have either a marvelously long tongue or superhuman flexibility. Either way, I'm deeply envious. But I think that licking your own asshole is a waste of that ability. So, you know, if you want to go that way. Anyway, so let's start the wrap-ups. Team, Thank you for coming on this evening.
Yeah, it was last minute. As always, when I come onto these shows, it's always me just sitting in the chat going, I have to get on here and correct these guys because they're all wrong about everything they say. So that's what I'm here to correct, and I think I did my job today. So thank you, everybody, for having me on. And I love everybody in this panel, man. And I like everybody in the chat as well, and I'm just glad to be a part of this particular group right here.
Yeah, that's well, yeah, you're. I'm very glad. I feel I've been fortunate a couple of times coming into a couple of communities, but I feel really lucky that I fell in with these three fine gentlemen and you and yourself and people in the chat. One of the people I've esteemed most highly is Crafty Keeler, and she has a question for JL.
Yes.
Crafty says that she gets accused of being greedy by the lesbian and gay community because she's bisexual, and she wonders if you have to.
Okay, so to be perfectly honest, I mean that's a much longer story that we could definitely get into, but yes, very much so. For the longest time, I think that, and this is just my opinion, just been my experience, that of the LGBT community, of T+, like that, of all of them, I think the bisexuals got the worst rap because we were either kind of not noticed, the kind of like the lesser of the group because we weren't gay, we weren't straight, we weren't trans, we didn't have a kind of like outside the norm identity. We just kind of like were good with whatever. And there are varying degrees of bisexuality. I mean, some people can be completely open and in a relationship with either sex. Me myself, I really can't do relationships with same sex with other guys, but I can be kind of like I can't do long-term relationships. It just gets too hardcore. But as far as just like having fun or just going if I was single, then that'd be great, then that'd be fine. But I can do long-term relationships with a woman. So there's varying degrees, but we are seen as greedy. We are seen as having our cake and eating it too, sitting on the fence so that we don't have to make a choice, indecisive, or I've been called all these things. I've had people
think it's a choice though.
It isn't. You pretty much through life you pretty much able to determine where you sit on where you kind of like
is a choice, not necessarily who you're attracted to. A partnership would be definitely a choice. You choose to be in a partnership or not, and you choose who you wish to partner with. If you are bisexual, there would be an element of choice in there, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's a negative thing or that it's something that should be ridiculed or looked down upon or any of that other bullshit. And I think we need to stop.
Well, I mean that was the issue.
Yeah, right.
Many people, especially when I was younger, like in the '90s, it was very much when I was kind of coming into myself before I, with the people who did know, in the LGBTQ community, I was seen as just kind of playing the field. It was like, oh, well, you're undecided. Like, you don't really know.
So what?
So you want to play both sides. So you're kind of
fluid. Isn't that okay, though?
So what?
And I'm kind of like, that should be okay. But but it was like, hey, I'm bi. It was like, well, why aren't you just gay? Or why aren't you just straight? Or why are you? Well, it was a lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of gays and a lot of lesbians and a lot of trans. They took it as an affront to their struggle because bisexuals typically really don't have the struggle that they do. They're not, because gays, lesbians like this, but bis, I can switch back and forth, which means they see it as kind of like a dabbler. I can dabble with being gay, but then I can go back to being straight. So like, I'm not fully committing to one thing. And so that was the general, I would say in the 90s and the early 2000s, that was the general reaction to that. So I was very hesitant in being open with my bisexuality. And it was only until recent, I would say, probably 2000. I would say 2010, 2011, that I was able to say, I don't give a fuck. I'm old enough, and I'm bisexual. That is who I am. And no, I'm not gay. No, I'm not trans. I know I am not straight, and I'm not playing the field. This is who I am.
Right.
And so,
and I think that's the difficulty is getting to the point where you are confident enough in your own identity to assert that and to stick with it. And I think, I feel, as a society in general, but particularly Australian society, we need to, just let people be themselves, and support them for making that, support them in that, support them in being that. At the risk of bringing down the tone of the conversation, you did use the phrase "coming into myself." Am I the only person for whom that's a physical impossibility?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I just.
But it's okay. They have tube extenders that you can use to help you with that issue.
I don't even consider it desirable. It's not just that it's a physical impossibility. I'm glad it's just impossible.
Don't knock it till you try.
I'm not here to kink shame.
Anyway, so Irish. I'm turning to you because obviously you can't possibly be interested in sexual contact with yourself. That would be hideously ugly.
Well, you can find out at www.onlyfans.com/PhD Tony and Irish Demon. We have a joint account. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. But anyway, yeah, I guess we gotta start getting out of here. I'm getting there too. I'm getting pretty tired. You want now?
Can I just make an observation real quick that when I pointed out that Irish's demon woman was his right hand, he started talking off camera to somebody, but that person never showed up. Never.
Say this, right? There's a good reason for that. She literally just got out of the shower, so her hair is all fucked up, and she would not go on the screen.
She could have waved at the camera.
Hi,
I'm here.
This is Demon.
Put both of your hands up too in the air. We have to see both of your hands at the same time.
There's a physical human being that's present.
Woman.
She's gonna throw shit at you.
Gosh, she only responds to woman, right?
Works every time. That's because she's about to hit me. So I know you won't go on the screen right now, but will you please put your beautiful feminine hand in front of the camera so these losers, these clown show jokers, know that you're real.
If she knows what's best for her, she won't do it.
Just bring your hand out and I'll tell you.
I know you're real.
Oh God.
Put your hands
up.
So
she exists. All right, she exists.
So
she's in some of my videos though. Some of my earlier stuff.
So confirmed.
Confirmed
that demon's your fiance.
I just got a mute for a quick second.
From the Addams Family.
Well, the only thing that Demon proved there was that he has a very lifelike prosthetic of a woman's arm.
Fuck.
So
how did he
I think it was fucking CGI cartoons, man.
CGI. There's a lot of CGI coming in the chat.
CGI.
But I will say that Johnny O's children, who did not make an appearance today, I feel robbed.
Yeah, they're all tired. It's been a long week.
Cannot possibly be CGI'd. That level of cuteness is beyond the capacity of mere mortal man to construct. So, Johnny, how are you? What have you got coming up?
So some of the stuff we talked about is going to be on unpopular opinions. The double standard, that's going to be kind of the overall arching theme of Monday's episode. And then Dingleberries will be out Friday, Dingleberries and Klingons. I'm not sure who's going to be the main subject, but it'll be somebody fun. And then, general shenanigans throughout the week. Should be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Sorry, Irish, I cut you off before you had a chance to.
Oh, no, it's fine.
It's okay. He ain't got shit.
Whatever. Just gonna have my daily show, my where I read out funny news articles. That's been really fun. I've really enjoyed doing that. Just as even just comic relief for myself. I've had a lot of fun doing that. And then some created shows. I've got one planned for tomorrow, which is hectic. Is the only words that I can use to describe it. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And then my Saturday night talk show. And we'll take it from there, see what comes up, and we'll do videos as they come. That's about it.
But one thing that you should seriously consider is trying to become the world's first professional sulker, because you are quite good at it.
What?
sulking. You're quite good at sulking.
When
Oh,
have
I
I
thought
ever
you just
sulked?
called him. I
Well,
thought you called him
just
one of the
sulked at
world's
the
best
start
sulkers.
You just sulked at the beginning of your at the beginning of your outro there. Like, that was sulking.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Dude, you looked super
Yeah,
depressed
good.
the other day. Or
Good.
earlier, I'm sorry, not the other earlier.
See? But anyway, you guys can continue that offline. I don't care. I am going to have a video coming out.
Nobody interrupt Tony now, guys, okay?
Okay.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. And
I'll try not to.
that's okay. I'm going to have a stream with Professor Phil Bell.
Yeah, definitely.
Friday morning.
Sorry,
And
nerd.
that's it. That's it. We're done. That's all I've got coming up. You can't interrupt me
What
anymore.
about JL Warren?
Yes, we can.
I
Yes,
started
we can
with him.
definitely still interrupt
You
you.
started with me, Tony. You're becoming senile.
But then I went to JL with the question. He was supposed to put in all of his
I
wrapping
thought
up
I wasn't going to jump on everybody else. You went to somebody else, then you asked me a question. I figured I wasn't going to jump in somebody's place. Plus, I was late, so I figured I'd go last.
Chill.
So,
2
okay.
seconds.
Yeah,
Tony,
that's
Tony,
right.
you have to realize JL doesn't pick up on social cues like all the rest of us do. So you have to really break it down piece by piece for him to understand.
Knowing JL, he may be responding to my utterances from the beginning of the stream. He seems to be about 2 hours behind the rest of humanity.
No, the only utterance I'd be responding to is the what fucking Johnny keeps calling me.
Right.
I didn't call you anything.
Anyway.
I'm still I'm still
Call me
stuck on
baby.
that. But yes, I do have a few things coming up. 2 big things. Is one, I'm almost done with the video, with my next video for my channel. So I'm sorry it's taken so long. Eventually, I will get that up. Hopefully by the end of this week, that will be up. So it's taking forever. Big news on our horror show on Week in Horror's front is that we are going to be taking the show live, and that may be going down this week. Eugene is currently setting up his or getting his whole setup going, so we think Thursday might be the day that we take that live. So that'll be really cool. You get the notification if you're subscribed to the channel that we're taking the horror show live, and we're gonna try to work some stuff in there, give away some prizes. It might be a good time. It might totally suck. I have no idea, but it should be fun. So we have that coming up. Other than that, it's the same old over here. So nothing huge.
Okay.
No giant news.
I want to complain because I tried to buy Week in Horror shirts earlier today, and I couldn't find where to do it. So put a link somewhere that I can find.
I will get you a link.
Okay. So with all of that, thank you everybody in the chat. Johnny, you won Clive Wells back. He resubmitted.
Jesus Christ, team.
The hell is that? That's not me.
That's the team's meat farts.
Oh, I got you.
So anyway,
yeah, I do want to. Can I shill out something's happening on my channel tonight? We have Fohammer versus Vlad. The debate that couldn't happen because of Vlad's mic, it will be occurring tonight.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
And so yeah, thank you everybody in the chat. Clive Wells, Patrick.
What is that?
The plot, little.
What is that?
Alien Gaming.
Jesus Christ.
That's not me.
And others.
Which one of the panel actually has a soundboard, though, team? I'm looking at you, man.
I mean, yeah, well, it's not installed. I literally had to install Skype to do this.
Okay. All right.
Convenient.
Well, we're not even.
Don't worry, Tony. I got your back. Here we go.
Good night, everybody.
Here comes the
Good
outro.
night, everybody.
Good night.
What the fuck is that?
It has to be JL.
It's not me.